Learning new vocabulary is one of the most important parts of mastering a language, and it's something every English learner wants to improve. But let's be honest, sometimes learning new words can feel like a slow and overwhelming process. If you've ever thought, how can I learn vocabulary faster? Then this video is for you. One of the most common mistakes English learners make is trying to learn too many difficult words right away. Instead of memorizing a list of random words, focus on high-frequency words. These are the words that are used most often in daily conversations, books, movies, and podcasts. By learning the most commonly used words, you'll start recognizing them everywhere, which will help you remember them much faster. Words like have, go, want, make, and see are used in almost every conversation. Start with these and you'll quickly find that your vocabulary grows without much effort. Flashcards are a great way to memorize new vocabulary, and using the spaced repetition method makes it even more effective. Spaced repetition means reviewing the words you've learned at increasing intervals of time. Instead of reviewing your flashcards every day, you review them every 2 days, then 3 days, then a week, and so on. This method helps you remember words in the long term by taking advantage of the brain's natural ability to forget things over time. Apps like Anki and Quizlet allow you to create your own flashcards and set up spaced repetition schedules, so you can focus on learning words that need the most review. One of the best ways to remember new vocabulary is to learn it in context. This means understanding how the word is used in a sentence or situation. Don't just memorize the meaning of the word. Try to see how it fits into a conversation. For example, let's say you learn the word serene. Instead of just memorizing it as calm and peaceful, try using it in a sentence like, "The lake was serene in the early morning." This gives you more information about how to use the word, making it easier to remember and apply when you speak. When you learn new vocabulary in context, you also start to learn common phrases and collocations, words that often go together, which will make your English sound more natural and fluent. The best way to solidify new vocabulary is to use it. Don't just learn a word and forget about it. The more you practice speaking and writing with new words, the better you'll remember them. You could try writing a journal entry using a few new words you learned, or you could practice speaking with a language partner, using the new vocabulary in conversation. If you don't have a language partner, try recording yourself speaking and then listening back to see how you can improve. It's okay if you make mistakes. Just keep using the words you've learned. Another useful technique is to group related words by theme or category. For example, if you're learning words related to food, you could group them into categories like fruits, vegetables, cooking verbs, and so on. This will help you remember the words in chunks instead of just isolated words. This method is especially useful when you're learning words for specific situations. If you know you'll be traveling to an English-speaking country soon, you can focus on learning vocabulary related to travel, transportation, hotels, and restaurants. Engaging with different forms of media, like TV shows, movies, songs, and podcasts, is a great way to pick up new vocabulary. As you watch or listen to content in English, pay attention to the words you hear often. Write them down, look up their meaning, and try to use them in your own conversations. You don't need to understand everything at first, but over time, you'll start recognizing the words, which will help you remember them. Plus, it's a fun way to learn because you're getting exposed to the language in real-life situations. Sometimes, the best way to remember a new word is to create a mnemonic or memory aid. For example, let's say you learn the word catastrophe, which means a disaster. You could think of the word cat and imagine a cat knocking something over, causing a big mess. The image of the cat causing a catastrophe will help you remember the meaning of the word. Other memory techniques you can use include creating rhymes, visualizing images, or using acronyms. The more creative and personal your mnemonic, the easier it will be to recall the word later. Setting specific goals for learning vocabulary will help you stay motivated. You could set a goal to learn 10 new words each week or to learn 50 words in a month. Whatever your goal is, make sure it's realistic and achievable. Once you've reached a goal, take time to celebrate your progress. And don't forget to review the words you've already learned. Consistency is key when it comes to vocabulary building. Finally, the secret to learning vocabulary quickly is repetition. The more you encounter a word, the easier it is to remember. So, review your vocabulary regularly. Even if you only have 10 minutes a day, take time to go over your flashcards, write a few sentences, or listen to content in English. It's all about repetition. The more times you come across a word, the more likely it is that it will stick in your memory. One technique that has always worked for me is reviewing my vocabulary just before bed. Studies show that the brain retains information better when it's reviewed right before sleep. So make this a part of your daily routine. Even if you only spend 10 to 15 minutes reviewing the words you learned that day, it will make a huge difference in how well you remember them. Don't just focus on one method of learning. While flashcards are great for memorization, real-life application of the words is what truly makes them stick. Try using new words in your daily life. For example, if you're learning the word fascinating, try to use it in a sentence the next time you're talking about a movie or a book you enjoyed. Saying it out loud helps cement the word in your memory because you're associating it with your own personal experience. You can also try to describe things around you using the new words you've learned. Let's say you're learning words related to nature, like mountain, river, or forest. As you walk through a park or hike, describe everything around you using these new words. Not only will you be reinforcing your vocabulary, but you'll also be improving your speaking skills at the same time. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't worry. Learning vocabulary doesn't have to be a stressful process. The key is to enjoy the journey. Try to make learning fun. If you like reading books or watching movies, choose those activities in English. As you encounter new words, pause the movie or book and look them up. Don't just wait until the end of the page or scene. Look them up immediately to keep the flow of learning going. When you're watching a show or listening to a podcast, take note of the words you don't understand. Write them down and look them up afterward. Then, try to use those words in sentences of your own. This will help you develop a deeper connection to the vocabulary, and soon you'll be able to recall those words without even thinking. Another useful tip is to learn vocabulary and themes. For example, focus on words that relate to travel one week and words related to cooking the next. Grouping words by themes helps you remember them in relation to each other. Plus, once you learn a theme, you'll be able to express yourself in that area more easily. It's also a great way to prepare for specific situations, like ordering food in a restaurant or making a reservation at a hotel. But learning vocabulary doesn't just stop at passive activities like reading or watching videos. Engaging in active conversations is crucial. The more you talk, the faster your vocabulary will improve. You might feel shy at first, and that's completely normal. But it's important to push through that discomfort. Start by talking to yourself, practicing new vocabulary aloud. Even if no one is listening, the act of speaking helps reinforce the words in your memory. For example, after learning a new word like delicious, try saying it out loud a few times while imagining different scenarios. This cake is delicious, or that pizza looks delicious. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll become with using new words, and soon you'll be using them in real conversations without even thinking about it. If possible, try language exchange with native speakers or fellow learners. There are many websites and apps where you can find a language partner, such as HelloTalk or Tandem. Practicing with someone else will push you to use the vocabulary in real-life situations, making it easier to retain. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Native speakers will understand and help you correct yourself. and this kind of feedback is invaluable to your learning process. Another method that I personally enjoy is word association. For example, if you're learning the word elaborate, try associating it with an image or concept. Think of a picture of a well-decorated cake with many layers. And remember that the word elaborate can describe something with lots of details or complexity. The more vivid and creative your associations are, the more likely you are to remember the word when you need it. Creating visual representations of words can also be a huge help. Some people create flashcards with pictures that show the meaning of the word. This visual connection can make a word stick in your mind faster. If you're learning the word happy, you might add a picture of someone smiling or laughing to your flashcard. Visuals can help activate your brain in a way that text alone cannot. Hope this podcast helped you guys. If it's helped, can you also help me?